Naxinet just got swatted again. For a second time, this guy has gotten swatted. It just happened yesterday, like around 7, 8 o'clock at night. I was told about it. People were posting pictures all over Twitter about it. People were saying that there was all over Facebook. There are pictures and there are videos of it, okay? So, yes, this actually happened. He was swatted a second time. If you don't know who Naxinet is, again, just a quick summary. A Friday Night Funkin' degenerate who made mods making fun of cancer patients, other people who had tragedies like Ronnie McNutt, 1444. He drew inappropriate pictures of little girls, and he was putting it all out there for rage bait. And during this reign of terror, I would say, he also helped facilitate a girl get taken hostage virtually because he was spreading her, docs, and he was having her carve his name into her leg and many other things. There are 3 new allegations, people. 2 of them include little boys. Yes, 2 little boys, and one of them was his quote-unquote ex-girlfriend, who is not his ex-girlfriend. He essentially held her hostage with the idea that if she did not do what he said, he would then harm himself, okay? This guy is like a clogged toilet that keeps puking poop everywhere, and you just can't stop it. And it just won't. It's like you keep digging and it just gets worse. I talked to 11 to 12 people, like a few weeks ago. And they were all just telling me this. These are ex-friends. These are people who worked on a mods with him. These are people who are around him throughout the entire time. And here's the thing. I do want to say this much. When I was asking about this, I ended up getting in contact with some of his very, very close friends. And when I asked them about it, they were like, no, none of that happened. None of it happened. Cold Raven, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. And then I lied to him. I was like, well, what if I were to tell you I have screen recordings and evidence that it did happen? Cold Raven, it did happen, and I'm sorry. I was like, no, I don't have any evidence. I literally just lied. And then he started spilling their guts to me. I was like, oh, well, okay. I guess that worked. I didn't know that was going to work. I was like, oh, let's see what happens if I do this. Dink. And it just worked. I was like, okay, well, and I have it all recorded, so that's going to be hilarious. But essentially, one thing I do want to state before we get into all of this. Do not dox, do not swat other people. And I made the statement saying this much, that when you swat other people, you could get innocent people hurt. But you also got to look at it like this. A SWAT team is a specialist group that goes out to perform objectives to stop people doing horrible acts. If they are over here and horrible acts are happening over here, they can't do, you can't do that. Okay, you're wasting their time when they should be over there instead of over here. And they're looking at some chubby boy standing outside with his dad. And his dad's like, I know he's a disappointment. Just take a look at him. And if you've seen these pictures, man, I'm telling you right now, it was like, wow. It was wow. The size of his house was like a shoebox. If you knocked on the front door, Smurf would come out, okay? Absolutely embarrassing. On top of that, he had a mop on his head. He needs to take that shit off and give it back to the janitor he stole it from. He's wearing some oversized sweater that you think a hot Cheeto eating Latino would wear, with the little fingers coming out the cuffs because it's 3 sizes too fucking large. Absolutely embarrassing. Some nasty ass gray sweatpants that need to go get dumped back into the river where he found them. And he was wearing like 3-inch Nike lifts. They were damn near considered stilettos at this point. And he clearly got them from the woman's aisle because you can see the fat back on it. But I guess, as they say, a woman's 11 is cheaper than a man's 7. Give your mother her shoes back. This guy has no drip. There is not a single tick on the drip monitor. I can go ahead and ask the fucking forecast. No rain, no precipitation. You can't dress for the life of you. And you want to go out and go ahead and harass and talk trash about people, what they look like, how they dress, and you want to dox people and swat people and make fun of how other people look, and that's you. Seriously, and with your 3-inch stilettos at this point, you still couldn't even crack 5 feet tall. If you compare the size of him to the size of his 8-foot front door, he's barely half the way there. And by the way, he's about to turn 18 anytime now, so there ain't no growth spurt around the corner. You ain't getting any taller. You are the first human being to not be taller than his own father. How embarrassing. I never seen that before. In all my days, I've never seen somebody shorter than their own fucking father. And your father ain't like the Great Khali or the Big Show, but I mean, he's the Eiffel Tower in comparison to you. And he's what, 5'4"? I can't believe it, man. You're like hugging your dad, just like sniffing his belly button and shit. Absolutely embarrassing. But again, I do want to state this much. The allegations with these 2 little boys, this is what I was told. Alright, so the first one told me that he was around 12 years old when this happened. Naxinet made him go on Discord under the guise that he would be doxxed if he did not. Turn on his camera. Put his hand down his pants. and play with himself and moan the name Naxinet. And if he did not, he would be doxxed. Okay. Now, essentially, the second boy told me that Naxinet was having him twerk with his pants down. And this was happening at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And essentially, when I asked Naxinet's best friend if it happened, he told me it never happened. And then I told him, yo, what if I told you I had evidence that this actually did happen? What would you say then? He immediately folded. He was like, okay, I was there and it did happen, but it was just a prank. And, you know, it was 4 a.m. activities, man. You got to understand where we're coming from. And we didn't expect it to get that out of hand. It was just a joke. And please spare us. I had literally no evidence. I had no evidence. I just said I didn't. He just folded like an omelet. I was like, oh, there you go. That was easy. You know, you need to get one of those old school that was easy buttons. Just click it. Absolutely easy. I literally lied. It's all recorded, by the way. So I appreciate the admission. And I don't appreciate the fact that you lied to me about it first. Just be open and honest. But now that you actually told me inside that recording that you were there when it happened, now I can see why you lied about it, because you want to go ahead and save your own ass. But then I guess you were under the assumption that I knew you were there. I had no idea you were there. I was just asking if you knew, because you were his best friend. And on top of that, I had an interview with Naxinet. Then he's claiming that it's not him. And then his friend's claiming that it is Naxinet with a voice changer. And just this whole entire muddying the waters type of shit. That's essentially what they want to do. They just want to muddy the waters as much as humanly possible so none of this stuff comes out. Naxinet also had this girl named Audrey, which when I heard about Audrey, I was told that was his girlfriend. Again, if you watched the Reyes interview, I never stated that it was. I was told that. Turns out it is not his girlfriend. He threatened her with the idea that he would hurt himself if she did not do as he stated. And then he also drew inappropriate pictures of her and other things. And it's just this... It just keeps getting worse. Like, I have no idea. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And this is only after, 10 to 11 interviews? You know, and again, there's way more interviews I have to give. Way more. And this girl, I haven't even interviewed her yet. Haven't even. Okay, this is from what I've heard. And this is what she has stated publicly. So I can only imagine. It only gets worse from here on out. So essentially, Naxinet is an absolute fucking degenerate. We've already came to that conclusion months ago. But now it's gotten even worse and worse and worse and worse. And from what I'm going to say from here on out, I do want to state this much. To the people that are swatting him, instead of just swatting him and calling the cops in his neighborhood and making up some story to have them come knock on his door, just inform them of what he has done, okay? And a lot of you guys had screenshots of him doing stuff, like admitting to the stuff that he was doing. Why don't you just turn that over to the police and let them handle him, okay? Let them handle him. Because essentially you're not getting anything done with this swatting. And yeah, I know a lot of people are like, it's giving him a taste of his own medicine because he wanted to swat all these other people. True. That is true. It is Thanksgiving. He made the whole entire spread, but he don't want to eat. But now it is time to eat, so you got to stuff your face, right? You got to eat the shit that you were serving. True. I don't disagree with that point. But I do disagree with the idea of swatting, obviously, because you could get innocent people hurt, and there are other problems that need to get taken care of. This is just thinking outside of this box. And I understand the people who are typically swatting are people that he has affected directly. That's one thing I do want to state. These are not just randos online, you know, that are swatting. These are people that he has swatted in the past. People that he has doxed in the past, kind of getting their get back. And essentially, it's just going to be this ongoing circle because Naxinet thought inside of his brain that if he feeds the school of piranha and he feeds them and he feeds them and he feeds them, that at no point they would ever turn on him. But from these interviews, from what I was told, he would treat these people like shit. Like absolute shit. Like he would like, oh my God, this was one of them. Some guy told me this. He was friends with Naxinet at a point. And what he did was he said, man, your art kind of looks like Paya Gurin's, man. You know, it's kind of similar. Naxinet then said, hey, if you say something like that again, I'm going to dox you. What the fuck is your problem? That's what this guy does. If you say something that just offends him in the littlest, the slightest, he'll threaten to dox you, he'll threaten to swat you, and essentially the way he got caught, all of his information got leaked, was because, this is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Somebody, I think he cash apped Naxinet, and by doing that, he was able to get his phone number or something like that. or was like a Venmo. He sent him like $1, got all of his information, kind of like backtracked it, and then that's how he was able to get his home address. And from there, it just started spiraling out of control. One SWAT here, another SWAT there, and now we're gonna get swatting everywhere. People, this is not acceptable behavior. Of course, he is an online degenerate, absolutely disgusting, and I'm pretty sure he's done 1,000 more things. It will solidify his place in the Internet Hall of Fame for some of the worst human beings to ever exist. Okay, I'm not gonna argue that. But at the end of the day, please think about all the innocent other people in the situation. Think about his 5'6" dad, okay? And think about his mother, okay? Think about all those people in the situation. You got to. So with that being said, like, favorite, share, most play, the comment, subscribe. I'm probably going to be doing more interviews, but when I get the final cut, I'm going to make a full video covering everything. I'm your boy, Cole Raven. I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.